everybody. Since day one of this program, I've been trying to get these two gentlemen on the show, and now it has finally happened. Brian Posehn and Kevin Smith, everybody. Hello. One of the greatest comedy duos of all time.
Finally reunited after all those years because of that weird cuckold situation. We got over it, and
get into that.
We're gonna smoke it out right here. Fuck Entourage, hug it out. We're gonna smoke it out. Can we curse?
Right? Yeah.
Fucking out.
I was thinking the other day, instead of hugging it out,
Yeah, you
people
can
should
smoke
fuck
weed,
it
but
out.
you can't say fuck.
I don't know. There's weird rules on the internet.
Yeah, that could happen. But no,
Is that kind of show where you could literally have dead air while you drink? Everyone's just like, what's going to happen next? He took a drink.
I just stupidly assumed that one of you two guys would say something while I was drinking. Yeah,
I did. I tried.
Yeah.
So what is the...
There's a paramedic outside, right?
Yeah, we got
I love that.
EMT.
I wish there was always a paramedic hanging out while I'm getting high, just in case.
Yeah, because when you go down, something's gonna happen.
Is that what we do on the show? Get high and blow each other? No. Nobody told me that second part, but I'm here.
I meant
queer.
fall
Let's get
over,
used
but
to it.
if that's what weed makes you do, then I'm sure Brian can hook you up. Mm-hmm. Right? You'll let him blow.
Sometimes I
You'd
blow
let Kevin
people
Smith
as
blow
I'm
you.
falling. Yeah.
All right.
Things got a little awkward for a
Yes,
second.
I don't know what was. I just
I'm
don't know
sorry
what was
about the
happening.
whole us blowing each other thing. Let's talk about weed, right?
Was that? Do you think that was a record for you though? That you went 2 minutes without talking about anyone blowing anyone?
No, the record is me going 2.5 minutes without mentioning Clerks, and I just broke it. Thank you. I did make Clerks once, ladies and gentlemen.
I saw Clerks in a motion picture theater
Did
in
you?
San Jose, California. I was traveling road comic, and I went to the local art house because that's where it played because it was in black and white.
Yeah.
And had a lovely time.
You sounded like
Been a
Wilford
fan-
Brimley telling
been a
that
fan-
story. That's where
I've been a fan ever since.
Because it was black and white, and I saw it, and I said, "We'll never get older, and we'll never die."
Very specifically Brimley from Cocoon. Yeah.
The best Brimley. The only other
I
great
was
Brimley
thinking
to
the
me.
oatmeal Brimley.
Well, there's that Brimley, but that's everybody's Brimley. But if you're going to embrace a really outside the box Brimley, it's Brimley in The Firm, where he's showing Tom Cruise pictures of him fucking somebody else on the beach. He's like, "No wife wants to see this, things oral and whatnot." And you know what he was talking about? Wilford Brimley was talking about blowjobs. The human walrus talking about blowjobs. Walrus.
Did Wilford Brimley inspire your new film?
It did. I tried to cast him
Tusk
first.
is the Wilford Brimley story.
Couldn't get him and went for Justin Long instead because
So
in the
close,
Hollywood
so
pecking order
close.
it goes Brimley Long.
Yeah, he's going to be doing
Were you
whatever.
literally just texting people while the show's going on?
No. Now I'm. The alarm went off because it's 4:19.
So that means.
So that means we got to be smoking in the next minute.
Is that the premise of the show?
Well, it's
Does
a
theme
jumping off
music kick
point.
in like wow 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 wow?
No, but now that you mention it, maybe it should.
It's like a match game moment.
We have a couple of theme songs you'll hear as the show progresses, but
No button, you
it's
just pull.
No button, Blackout X, disposable. It's got what's it got in it today, Brent? He's not here.
Probably this.
It's got some sort of wax in there. We don't. You didn't make any waxes, but we'll get to those in a second. But anyway, it's 4:20, gentlemen. Let's go
don't even know how to
ahead
operate
and
this.
there's nothing to do. You
just
just
pull.
inhale. You just pull.
Is that the hole? Mm-hmm. Sounds like me having sex. Here we go. Is this the?
Is that the one?
Where's the button though?
There's no
On the
button.
X?
No button at all.
You just inhale?
hit it. Yeah.
Don't you like to pretend it's a flute when you do it?
I do. It doesn't make any of that horrible flute noise.
Did I get anything?
I think so.
Oh yeah, I did.
And this just coming in. Thank you, Danielle. This is amazing. This is also from our friends at Blackout X, and it's a dry herb plus. I think it's called. Is that what it's called? And you just put your actual weed in there, and it heats it up to about 400 degrees, so it's not burning it, but it still burns.
It's like I'm not here.
It's amazing,
They're not even
right?
talking to me anymore. They're talking to each other. and
No,
shit.
you can listen.
That's
Yeah,
why I
you
don't
could
smoke
totally
weed
hear
with
all this.
people. I don't smoke. I like to smoke alone because we smoke with people. All of a sudden they're like, "Hey, man," they forget there's a third guy in the room. I wear a very loud jersey so that you have
Just
to pay
so we'll
attention
talk to
me.
you?
Yes. This is the cool moment I never had in high school, hanging out with the burners, man. This is awesome.
That is true. You were that's good. You were a late starter, if you will.
What are you smoking in there?
What is in here today? What is it? Oh, this does have Tusk in it? All right, here we go. Thanks for mentioning it.
So yeah, so
That's the Mr. Tusk is the indica.
Zoom in on a real close product shot.
I don't know if they do those here. And then the sativa is called White Walrus, and Mr. Tusk and White Walrus are available at Buds and Roses in the Valley here in Los Angeles.
I'm actually going there.
And
right
you're
after
going
this.
there for a. What do you sign when you go to a pot store? You
I
just
guess
sign the
this.
bottles.
It's the first. I've never done it before. I've
Yeah.
signed a lot of things. I've signed a testicle once. I've signed side boobs and stuff, but I've never
in a
signed
jar
one of
or
these.
hanging out of a dude's
It was Hitler's ball, and I was just like, I'm making my mark on history. No, it was somebody pulled it out, and then I've signed people who get tattoos, but I've never signed one of these. This will be a first. It looks like I'll sign a few, hopefully, unless I get there and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, the guy made Clerks, and there's nobody in line and stuff, which would be fine. Then I'd smoke up with the employees.
I think there's a few people that are probably going to jump in their car as soon as this show is over, because here in California,
Are we live?
we'll be done. Yeah, we'll be done at 5
Mom.
o'clock. She watches this.
She does. She loves you. She's
We'll be
like, I love when that boy smokes his marijuana with his friends. Why can't you do that, Kevin?
Why can't you? Let me see if I can get this thing to go. Sometimes it needs to get warmed up to a certain level. It might not be there yet.
Do you guys tend to smoke with others? Is that for me?
This one's a little
Thank
cocktail.
You.
It has
oh my God, it's like
wax
being
in it.
at that place where you hold up a green or red sign, they throw meat at you. That restaurant. My sign, consider it green all the time, literally. All right, so I can just press and go.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one filled with weed as a burner.
Yeah. I think
Vaporizer
that
pen
might
of
have
some
a little
sort.
wax in it too. I think she said it was a cocktail of both, because you can put all sorts of things in there. And if you use the code Doug10 at checkout at Blackout X right now, $10 off everything in the store. Anything you can get $10 off. And you can also get $10 off of your pre-orders of this thing, the Dry Herb Plus.
Sell, motherfucker, sell.
Yeah, right.
Listen to that. You hear that, kids? Sold by a pro.
I know how to read off of a card.
Can't believe you are not already out there with one of these in your hand after a pitch like that. Holy shit.
Sure, like top loaded with plugs because you can't do it later when you're super high.
Yeah, all of this gets more difficult to do as it goes along, as you'll see. We might all just be staring off.
Has the show ever gone completely off the rails, like really early?
David Cross did a pretend walkout where he did a hit and I said, would you like to hit something else? And he was like, no, and he got up and walked out the door. But then he came back. If he'd have really left, I would have been so happy.
He can't commit to
Why?
a bit.
Because that would have been a hilarious commitment. Because he'd been sitting there for 2 minutes, drove all the way over here. That would have been pretty awesome. But he stayed on the show, and we had a
when you
a good
fake
time.
leave, you kind of got to really leave.
I did that with my career. I didn't fake leave. I left filmmaking for a while, and I came back recently with this Walrus movie, but my wife's been busting my balls going, I knew you weren't going to really retire. And I said, no, I really did. The only reason you get to the Walrus movie is because you're done in your head.
Well,
The only reason you make a Walrus movie is because you're like, obviously, I don't give a fuck about my career anymore, you know?
Well, the last two movies just sort of felt like also you were like, let's see how they react to a Kevin Smith movie that doesn't seem at all like a Kevin Smith movie.
It's like you were
do
in
a
the room
sneaky
when I
version.
conceived them, and I said that out loud, like a Shakespeare guy. Let's see how they react to a Kevin Smith movie. That's not. It wasn't even that. It was just I got to a place where I ran out of interesting things to say because I stripped my personal life for all the early movies that people tend to like more, and so I stopped living a real life once Clerks got picked up, and so at a certain point the movies become about making movies or other movies that you've seen before. So the thing that got me here was doing something weird and original that nobody else wanted to do, make a movie about me and my friends and shit. And then I tried to desperately guard my career and figure out what other people were doing. You know, it's just like, what's selling, what's marketable and stuff, instead of what do I want to do, what makes me happy, because that's what got me here. So by the time you get to that Walrus picture, or even before that, Red State, I got to a place where I ran out of personal things to say, and that was the only kind of filmmaking I knew. I was barely a filmmaker, as every critic will tell you. All I did was take shit out of my heart, put it on platters, project it, and be like, what do you think? Like, Clerks exists because I was a clerk. Mallrats exists because I hung out with my friends in the mall chasing Amy. I had problems dealing with a girlfriend's past. Dogma because I was a Catholic. Altar Boy who'd sit in church and giggle every time the priest said, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. So I didn't really make films.
I really thought you were going to do every one of your movies for a second.
I could have, dude. I could have. That's what happens to me when I smoke.
Yeah, start doing the
My
sequels.
commercials get much sharper, is all I'm saying. Anyway, so I got to a place where I ran out of personal shit, so I just started start trying to do what was marketable. Now I'm at that place now where I'm like, well, I can't do personal, because if I write about personal shit, it's like, oh, it's about a dude who got married and had a kid and he's happy and things worked out. Happy
boring.
people don't make good art, exactly.
No, but
so I had to start
somebody
making
into
shit
a
up.
walrus. That's what we're talking about.
Well, it's basically I got enough craft now. After 20 years of doing it, I know how to make a movie. And since I don't have anything personal to say, now I'm like, well, let me just make shit up, because that's what like David Cronenberg did, David Lynch did. Even George Lucas, he didn't go to high school with a fucking Wookiee. He made that shit up and then, made a movie about it. So now I guess I'm in the stage of making shit up part of my career and putting rubber in it, like, dude in a walrus costume.
But you're right also about the running out of like Lucas. Every idea he had in the later Star Wars movies was just sort of like a warmed over, almost like a weird ripoff of a Star Wars movie. Like he lost track of.
Let's not get started. I don't want to be high and arguing about Star Wars.
We're not going. I think we're all on the same page. I don't think we're going to argue. But all of these pipes on the table that we have here are all loaded up with the sativa, which is white walrus, because most of the guests prefer a sativa, especially if they've got things to go and do after this show.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you this, like it's going to sound like a stupid question for a guy that smokes so much weed, but what is the sativa supposed to do to you versus indica? For me, it's all garbage in, garbage out. As long as it lights, I'm happy. And so,
and gets you high. Yeah, I'm afraid a lot of us are that way.
I know the difference between the two, and I like.
This is not.
Try this one.
I prefer sativas over.
Yeah, you don't want my mouth on it. There you go.
They always say
this?
It's like
National Health Organization.
Mind high versus body high. And
do you agree with that? Do you think that's for real?
Nah, they all kind of do that. And the thing I've noticed is, like, indica makes me sleepy.
Watch this. I could switch out.
And people like, oh, what's happening?
Fuck. Oh, no, this is the one. That was a stoner moment. I just switched out the head from my pen. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
I'm totally listening.
Indica couch is all you have to remember. That is that it's gonna set you back more theoretically.
So that's the one that's
theoretically,
like,
but you smoke so much weed. I think you'll be all right even with an indica.
But sativa is the one that's supposed to make you like, I'm ready to work.
That's what they say, but then sometimes
you still don't feel like working. Sometimes on a sativa, like it's
nodding out during Top Chef
makes you hot. It just makes you hot.
That's what I don't do though. I don't smoke and watch things. Once I started smoking, as you said earlier, late in life, I made this kind of deal with myself where I was like, look, if you're going to do this, just make sure you're doing something creative while it's going on. That way nobody will give you shit. Nobody will sit there and be like, oh, you're a fucking stoner watching TV and shit. If you're a stoner making TV, nobody gives you crap. So I said, as long as I'm smoking, bingo, living proof. So as long as I'm smoking, as long as I'm creating something, making something, then nobody can give me any shit. And that's why for the last few years, I've been overly productive, because I just want to smoke all the time. And to justify the smoking, I have to keep creating things.
All right, I'll sign up for that program. And directing Tusk, do you like wake and bake and spend the whole day taking hits while you're directing a film?
As long as I'm on this earth, I'll be waking and baking. I'm 44. There's fewer years ahead of me than behind me, and I'm sure some people would be like, no, live a real life. This is a real life, man. I don't have to convince you I'm selling this guy. It's true to the audience. Some people need water.
The audience doesn't need convincing.
No, they're on this one. But everything I do, I wake up, I just wake and bake. So the movie, absolutely. Like, of course. Like, cool. It's just, it was born in a blaze. It would be irresponsible to be like, well, I can't be smoking weed while we're making this walrus movie. You
could bet Altman smoked probably a lot on the set.
From what I understand, until he left Toes Up off of a set, and he was a blazer. And like, he always, I ran into him every once in a while at a film festival, and he always seemed serene, like the Buddha. And that was long before I was a smoker, and people would be like, he's a stoner. And I'd be like, really? Because I thought stoners sat on couches and didn't do shit. Seth Rogen was the first stoner that broke that mold for me, because he was overly productive and constantly baked. And so, I'm probably not constantly, but he was baked an awful lot. And I was like, God, if that kid can do it now, why can't I? And I hadn't been a big smoker prior to that, but like, I smoked with him on the set of Zack and Miri. We were in post. We just wrapped, and we had a celebratory smoke and watched some cut footage, and I just giggled a lot, and I liked who I was. I liked that all the pretense went away. I wasn't worried about anything anymore. Didn't worry story about what my position
It
was.
explains why you talk so much.
Why?
Like now there's a reason. Like when you talk like this before you got high, people are like, what's he on? Now they're like, oh, he's high.
Exactly. Most people assume though, they're like, wow, it must be Coke, but it's not Coke. Weed does that.
No, you're way too serene to be on Coke.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't.
This is so weird. It's like literally, I feel like a freshman hanging out with two seniors who are like, you don't know about Coke, fatty? Tell me about Coke.
What about it? I've never tried it. Never even
How do you
tried
know?
it.
You're like,
No, I mean the way people act
around
on it.
people.
They're really up and spazzy and not this relaxed.
I don't know anybody that. I mean, Jason Mewes, who I know, who's gone through almost every drug on the planet. I've never really seen him in his Coke phase. So
Well, that's what I got today. Was a bunch of. People were guessing that you were going to come on, and then they were tweeting that Jason should come on with you. And I wrote back, "Oh, that guy's, it's not his thing anymore."
We have a
Because when you
whole
have all those
podcast.
other drugs that are a problem, this one can be a gateway. I don't think it's a gateway.
He's honestly, I mean, we shouldn't be on it. This isn't working. I'm not getting anything. I have to go back to this little stick thing. That was working
hold
out.
it down for a little while.
Before it goes, is that it?
It's those things are.
How long?
They come with instructions.
How long?
Like
10 seconds.
10 seconds? Don't do it?
It's saying, don't worry about it. Oh, that's the thing I should have said. It's a prototype, so that's another reason why it might
So
be.
we're in Hollywood and everything's fake like it is in the movies.
Yeah.
Right on.
This isn't really a bowling pin, but I finally brought this in because a guy's been begging me on Twitter, but it's this place I get a lot of my pipes from, Chameleon Glass, sent me this a few years ago. They call it the Lebowski Pipe.
Nice.
And it's shaped like a bowling pin, but it's also disgusting because I've been using it for years. So I'm gonna turn it around to the pretty side here. And this is called, now we're gonna call it, because someone said it and I agree, this is the squirrel. See how this is his
Oh, I see
head
it.
and this is his big bushy tail?
I could see it. I would have called it the Friday night. 'Cause
Right? That's Margaret Cho had a similar thought.
Yeah, for
she
sure.
wanted to put one in one hole and one in the other hole.
Gross.
I know, right? But you know Margaret.
Yeah.
Hey, let's settle this hash real quick, or maybe we'll do it after we get back from the break. Because Margaret said some stuff about me on the show last week that I want you to say is absolutely not true.
I didn't see it, but yeah.
The show? No, I'll tell you what she said.
Okay.
But we'll take care of the whole thing
it's like I'm not even here.
right after the break.
Said 5 things.
Right after the break.
Great day today, morning.
That's my shit.
They say LA is the home of the fakes. That's why I keep my residence east of Silver Lakes. Doing what it takes to get by and get a piece of the pie. I gotta buy a bunch of stuff that starts with I. Phones, Macs, and pads, you better go ask your dad what it was like in the old days they had. Artists and crafts and skills, that's how they stack the bills. Nowadays, people only know how to snack on pills. For reals, don't you think that I can tell by the way that you act that you're going through hell? The psychological frontier is finally here. That's why I slam a beer and try to have no fear. Every night I dream I'm in a haunted house full of malevolent ghosts just trying to come out. They wanna put me in a grave, but I'll never be a slave to another soul's misery. It's me that they trying to bum out. Bump this with this dragon, that's my Chinese zodiac.
Hey, we're back.
Smoky in here.
Kevin has lit up his own pre-rolled that he brought. What do you think's in that? Do you have any idea if that's a sativa or an indica or anything?
This is OGS San Bernardino Valley. That's what is OGSFV.
Okay.
I'm not good with those
Probably
names.
sativa, but you never know, right? Does OG always mean one thing or the other? I don't know.
I don't think so.
OG, I was told, means ocean grown, not original. It means
OG,
ocean grown.
OG always means indica.
Indica.
That's what they're
There
saying
it
in
is.
my earpiece that I don't have. But Brian, last week Margaret Cho claimed that when I first met her, which was probably around the year that she and I were in the San Francisco Comedy Competition.
1990s.
Yeah, but I knew you and her simultaneously is what I'm saying.
Right.
And I started smoking pot in earnest very shortly after meeting and hanging out with you.
Right. You didn't become become a full-fledged stoner till I bought you your first pipe when we worked for MTV.
There you go.
Yeah.
Is that true?
But
That was
yeah.
the origin point? You weren't at Seth Rogen?
But I mooched all the time.
Yeah, no,
I
you
mooched
would
a lot.
hang out. Yeah, and you smoked in SF when you were there, and then when I moved down here, we were smoking all the time.
Yeah, and sometimes
taking
you're probably
breaks on
annoyed. Like I'd be like, "Hey, Brian, where's the weed?" You'd be like, "Hey, why don't you get some once in a while?" So instead, I started a talk show. But the thing she said was that I was in a car with her and someone else, and they were smoking weed, and I was annoyed, and I wanted them to stop. There's
might
no
have just-
way. There's no way I'd be upset at people hotboxing a car.
No, you were probably
after I had met you.
just annoyed with Margaret.
That might be it. That might
totally-
be what she's remembering.
You just wanted her to stop talking.
Seriously though, Kevin,
Wasn't the
weigh in
weed.
on this. Margaret's a big liar.
I think it sounds like a French bedroom farce, to be honest. At the end, you guys are going to meet cute and fall in love. Sounds like something that Julie Roberts
She's married to somebody.
and Hugh Grant might
She's
have done
married
in
to
those
something
90s
now.
he talked
My
about.
worst trip is Margaret Cho related, and the reason I
You mean
no
the worst
longer
vacation you ever went on?
Yes. No, you go to Paris, France. No, I went to, we were in San Francisco, and I was shrooming with her, and we were in a cab, and Meatloaf was playing super loud, and she wanted it even louder, and we were flying through the city like we were in a movie shot in San Francisco, taking advantage
Yeah.
of all the hills.
You go off on
It
every
was
jump.
fucking frightening, and I'm tripping my balls off, and she wants the music louder, and to this day, I like her a little less, and I will always hate Meatloaf. And I love the food Meatloaf, so to hate the music Meatloaf as much as I hate.
You got to separate.
It's a real
love the
struggle
food.
that you
You're
have
like
to
the
fight with
band,
yourself
not the
every
food.
day.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not a band, it's a guy. You're like,
My
whatever.
hatred for the music is as deep
I love
as my
it.
love of the
I
food.
just want to throw out for the general public the name Shroomin' with Margaret Cho is a hot band name. I would take
Yeah,
that in a
sure.
heartbeat if I had a college band.
Oh yeah. I was thinking Everyday Brimley. What was that thing you said earlier? Something about Brimley. You said Everyday Brimley
Not
or something.
Everyday Brimley?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great name for a band. You guys have
Everyday Brimley. You're not a stoner singer? You don't
you've
sing
got-
when you did stoner?
Sure, a little bit. Brian could tell you neither one of us are sing-along types. We weren't going to join in with what you were just doing.
I was alone there. I realized that the moment you talked to me through Brian.
Yeah,
How awkward
yeah.
was that? You're like, right, Brian? I'm right here, dude. Look at me. Look at me. Let's connect.
All right, Kevin. 2,872 people are watching us live right now. The record on this program set a few weeks ago by my friends, the Trailer Park Boys.
You got the Trailer Park Boys on?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And
We just broke the record.
oh, we just did it anyway. That's how long. That's how long it took me.
I took
They
it
got
over.
Posehn.
It took me so long
I'm
to get to this
responsible for the
card that
one
we
guy.
got
Yeah,
several
yeah.
hundred more viewers.
Right.
So now where are we at? What's the total?
3,020.
3,020. So you're already 4 over the Trailer Park Boys record of 3,016.
You know what?
responsible for one of those
I have
dudes.
mixed feelings about that
3,000
victory.
42 now. Me too.
He gets 3,041. I'll take one of them.
Andy Richter.
Who's watching for you?
Just some dude.
Some dude who was like, I drove him and Margaret Cho in a cab once.
He was complaining.
I think they were shrooming.
Somebody named Birdstofer.
Not Birdstuffer?
Or Birds Topher
Oh, okay.
wants to know how many times you visited the Superman versus Batman set.
I have not once at all.
All right, so fuck you, Topher.
I haven't been there. It's in Detroit from what
He
I
just assumed that you're living on that set.
You went
A
to the
lot
Star
of
Wars
people
set,
do.
right?
I've been to the Star
That's
Wars
awesome.
set. Maybe they were confused about it. Or maybe because I went to the Star Wars set, the cat was like, oh, I'm sure he's been
He's
to
just
Batman.
going to the sets.
Yeah.
If
There was
the
a
movie
period in
looks
my life
interesting.
where I wasn't making movies and all I was doing was going to other people's movies and talking about them. So it's not far-fetched to think that I might have went there. Plus, the guy who plays Batman was in Mallrats once, so maybe he made that connection.
Oh, maybe.
Jason Lee's Batman?
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
I don't go to
My
the
name
websites.
is Bruce.
Just quit fucking around. Ethan, so please, man.
Yes. You knew he was biking for a while and he got in shape, and that's
How long
why.
can you do this for with Mallrats?
Michael Rooker was.
Yes. He made such an impression in Guardians of the Galaxy, they made him Batman.
There's no way you'll know this, but we wrote on the MTV thing when you had to come out to LA to do the promotion. That was the first time I ever
Mallrats,
met you. Yeah, we
Get
did
out
the
of here.
Mallrats.
Really? For the Mallrats special?
We were on
Yes.
the MTV payroll, and we were the two guys
and it
brought in
was
to
at the-
write something that you just came in and basically said what you wanted to say.
was at
Mentos, you
City
guys
Walk.
wrote Mentos jokes.
That
Did we?
terrible-
Yeah, it was
Probably.
the fresh maker was very current. So
Well,
I remember this very specifically. I got there and they were like, these cats wrote some things for Jay and Silent Bob to do. And I was like, okay. I was not at that stage of my career. I'd be like, Jay and Silent Bob, never do this. So I read it and one of them was about the fresh maker. And
That's
I had to have
brilliant.
somebody explain it to me. Somebody else who had their finger on the pulse. And it was Jason. And he was just like, there's a commercial where they say the fresh maker and everyone thinks it's funny. And I was like, all right, let's do it. You guys wrote that?
when we worked at
You can
MTV,
still find it online.
Yeah,
a memory
when we
on
worked
this
at
guy.
MTV, we just sat
It's
in a
from
room
Wayne,
getting
kids.
high, watching MTV, making fun of the things that we were watching on the network and writing jokes about that. That's
So you were
like all
paid
we
to be
did.
Beavis and Butthead. How amazing.
Basically, yeah.
We really were. It was a good time.
Fun
Halcyon
couple of
days.
gigs, yeah.
It's a good time to be alive.
Those were the days, my friend.
Nope, not
You
gonna do
can
it. It's
jump
not gonna
in
catch it.
right now.
It's not gonna
Come
catch on.
Really?
What if I
No,
did?
it's
What
not
if
gonna
I?
happen.
Yeah, you've known me 20 years and I just started singing.
What song
That's my
do
new
you
thing.
like? That, like maybe what's your hook that I could grab you with later on? What's your favorite? You like Anthrax?
Yeah, you get some Pantera, or some Anthrax or something.
I'm just gonna spring it on you like a jungle kid.
Isn't I think a Weezer song that I really like is the end title song of Mallrats. Is that true, Suzanne?
Is it true
is
that
that
you
the
like
name of the
I'm not
monkey
sure.
that you walk
You're
away
gonna
with?
have to confirm that for us on your show. Is it true?
Yeah, that's true.
That's the
right?
name of the song.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was that the name of the monkey?
The name of the monkey in the movie we called the monkey Suzanne, but in real life I don't think that orangutan. Not a monkey because monkeys have tails. Orangutan, great ape, don't have a tail. I don't think its real name was Suzanne.
Oh, you know, I just say monkey about everything. Like pretty much, I say that about the cat next door.
Totally.
Squirrels.
Where's that stupid monkey of yours that keeps meowing all night? So people send us questions on Twitter. You may have
I keep getting
surmised
that
that's
phone
what I'm
call.
looking
Now
at.
I know it's you.
Yeah.
it's too late on that.
Does that Kevin Smith still have the rubber poop monster?
I have the headpiece and half of the torso. It's up in Jay and Silent Bob's secret stash, the comic book store in New
That's
Jersey.
the kind of thing a person named Johnny Hemp 1 would worry about.
That's awesome.
Does he still have that?
Thanks to Johnny Hemp
gotta
1.
find out.
My kid might go to college one day. Thank you, Johnny Hemp 1, for giving a shit.
This question is for all of us. And I've been told this question gets sent in every week, and I guess we've ignored it until now. But I'm finally going to ask it. What's your favorite soup?
Beef barley.
Oh.
Thank you. I knew it was going to be controversial, but I knew I'd get half the room on that. Posehn,
I
top
wish I'd
back.
pick it. The guy
Not
who clapped
from there,
is
but
very
New
powerful.
England clam chowder.
New England clam chowder.
Oh, all right.
Very yeoman-like choice, but excellent.
And I'm from San Francisco.
Hence the hat, not because you like any kind of sports at
No,
all.
not at all. I have to defend this hat all the fucking time.
Guys come up to us in bars or whatever, they're like, yeah, the Giants. And Brian's like, I'm just wearing it because I am one.
Yes, I have said that.
What?
Remember the guy yelled at me outside of Juliana Hatfield like 20 years ago? Say, what are you, a computer nerd? Because first he goes, and that's when that was a put down 20 years ago, remember?
That was before Silicon Valley
some way of
caught on,
slamming
yeah.
somebody. No, because first he goes, so you don't, he started drilling me about, you don't follow baseball at all? And we're walking out of the club and I can't believe this is even happening. The guy's like, what about football? And he starts naming every sport. I'm like, nope, don't give a shit, never have, don't follow anything. And then he goes, well, what do you like? I don't know. And he goes, you're a computer nerd. Just,
That's it. That's
I
a
walked
perfect
away.
summation of a person that doesn't like
wasn't high school,
any
was
sports.
just walking
This
down
is
the
real
street.
life. IRL, as the kids
Yes.
say. As the computer nerds might say. Sorry.
I'd say
I lost all the people.
From now on, when they ask you, just go, oh, I like UFC. That gets them off my back. And then if they have a follow-up question, like if they ask you about a certain fighter, just go, oh, he's a beast. And you're always right, because they're in the fucking UFC.
Right.
So, you don't have to have too long a conversation about it.
Shortest conversation you could have, rather than I love USC, is just say I love you and then see what happens.
Oh, yeah. You into sports? I love you.
I love you.
What'd you say? I said I love
And
you.
really throw some creep into it.
Yeah.
I love you.
With a 1,000-yard stare, just like I love you.
I love you.
Oh my God, I love you.
I love you.
All right, you guys are not going to get any love on the message boards if we don't
love you.
smoke some more.
All right.
Did your thing die?
I'm already so
Are you
fucking
good?
high.
I'm good.
You sure you're good?
I smoked way more than you guys. You guys were doing the fake smoking with like, this is good with the
Are you
prototypes.
kidding me?
I actually hit my shit.
This is
That's why the numbers went up.
Fake smoking.
This is way more high than I get during the day.
Is it really?
Yeah, I'm out of my fucking skull right now, and I'm talking like a goddamn idiot.
You got a long ride home.
Yeah,
you
it'd
know?
be nice.
Do you have a driver?
Yeah. We send
Uber.
somebody to pick up everybody.
Can you
have
whack
other
it in the
things
back
to
of
do.
an Uber? Will they?
I don't know.
It's like in a limo.
Yes.
I just put up the
nothing
screen.
said.
the
They
thought.
don't give a
In a
shit. You know what I
limo.
mean? Yeah, they don't give a shit.
And I'm like,
right?
that's
yeah,
an
you
awesome band name
But
as well,
Uber.
in a limo.
They don't
Uber,
care
you
if
might
you
have to
jack
ask.
off
I
in
gotta
the
know, are you really that big?
a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, no, I am. Way more high than I
Well,
get this high at night.
Let's get into Brian's
after
high
my
history.
kids
Put
asleep.
high history logo up. Good job.
This is how high I get when I'm like making Legos for my kid and he's asleep because he's 5, so we buy Legos that are way more advanced than him, and I just stay up super high and do it. And it's like a Lego elf did it. A super fucking high fat Lego elf.
The wife and the kid don't wonder the next day though when the elf has a big boner or something that you added while you were high.
What are you talking about?
You can't put boners on them?
Not
What?
with
Oh
his
no, I
kid's
was saying
Lego
I'm
kid.
the elf.
Oh, what? I don't know what's happening. I have no
building
idea what's
something
happening.
for his kid. He's
He
not gonna
wakes
put a
up in the
boner on it.
morning and it's been magically,
Erected.
Built without
Like
a
an
boner.
elf did it.
That's the
Yeah,
magic.
I get it. The elf did it. I thought it was an elf that
How
you made
high
for
are you,
him.
dipshit?
I'm doing
Really? You guys are shameful. How lost you are, man.
No, because I did that thing that stoners do where I'm only thinking about the next thing I want to say, and I'm going to totally fucking forget it if I concentrate on what's actually being said to me, and I still got it. And it's that Brian took a sabbatical when his child came along,
Yes.
and has recently started up again. And that's why we're lucky to have him on the show, but also that's why he's so high right now, because he doesn't smoke
not
continuously
responsible
like
at
we
this
do.
moment.
You vouch for this?
Yes, that's
What's
true.
your excuse?
That's the
though?
story for being this high.
Yeah.
I've been hitting it pretty hard.
What, on the show?
Yeah,
Or
right
before the
since
show?
we got here, and a little before.
I
too.
smoke on
When
the
I get
road.
high,
I was
get
testing
judgy.
all this shit
As you
before
can
the
tell,
show.
when I get high, I get judgy. I'm like, you're not high enough. Neither are you. I gotta get real suspect.
All right, Kevin.
Ladies, gentlemen.
There you go. There you have it. No, we're doing great. This is like, we have like segments and stuff we do. We haven't gotten to shit.
Really?
Yeah. And that's,
How long is this
that's how
show?
it should be. We about 45 minutes.
Right on.
Yeah.
Any
this
segments that
give
you
or
still haven't
take?
gotten to?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
The first one we always do is high history, where we talk about your
Which
history.
one's which here?
We didn't do his.
Sorry.
We did sort of. He's smoked since he was probably a teenager, right?
No, not
How
till.
late did you start?
20.
Oh, okay. So that'd be
Like
1 year
bad
off of
experience in
being a
high
teenager.
school. Like the stoners at my high school were fucking dicks, and they were not nice people. They were like worse than like some of the jock bullies and shit. So it turned me off, and I had no desire to smoke it. But it was after living in Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix when I was 18 or 19.
That'll do it.
And the drug was crystal, and I hated that shit. I did it a bunch. And it was so not fun. And then I smoked for real when I moved to Sacramento with a dude who knew who he was doing or what he was doing, and like was my my Yoda.
Sensei.
Exactly.
And then you were mine, sort of.
Yeah.
And then,
But he was like the first time I went and had like the Boogie Nights experience of going to a fucking dealer's house. Have you done that?
Never.
You missed that. Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't good.
It's kind of fun.
You can't miss what you don't want.
Yeah,
I saw
it's
the
kind
Boogie
of-
Nights and I was like, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
but it's
in a
kind of
movie.
fun when you're 20 years old and you've kind of lived in a small town, like,
Not for
and,
me.
and it gets guns are out and people are acting weird and there's
Yeah, I
like a
don't want
shirtless
that
guy
back.
vacuuming
Yeah.
and shit
I don't
like
want that
that.
back. back
That
again.
would scare me off. Of weed
One
as
guy
well.
we knew that was a really sweet kid who was sold us weed all the time. He got like beat up one time
yeah, he
over
got
it.
jumped
and
a
stuff.
couple of times.
Yeah,
People
so,
just, yeah.
So is that what the
I'm
show's
glad
about?
that's-
We sit around and talk about the depressing things
No,
that
no,
happened,
no,
so got
no.
stoned in the past?
Let's talk about horrible things that are going to happen in the future, like to Justin Long, for instance, in your motion picture Tusk.
Oh, okay.
Because you've just come front and center and said Justin Long is going to have a fucking tusk.
Yeah, big time.
Or two.
In the movie.
They're two tusks.
They make him a walrus.
Did you haggle over whether to call it Tusk or Tusks?
No, because the title or changed.
You were listening to Fleetwood Mac when you thought of it.
Yes, but the title refers to a shortened name for the only friend the main character ever had in life was Mr. Tusk. So it's shortened.
Sure.
So there was no need to ever think about the pluralization of Tusks.
That's awesome. And you know, what's his name?
I don't believe you really feel that.
I really do. Michael Parks.
Yes, he is.
When
awesome.
I heard that guy was in the movie, I was, I was in anyway, but that really
He's the
excited me
truth.
because he's so great in those, he's in a few Tarantino things, and he's always really good. And nobody knows who he is or what his name is because he's so good that he's just so different every time that they can't pin him down. So much so that the company, what is it, A24 or A24?
A24.
A24
is releasing the film.
They released a film. They bought some ad time on my movie show. I love that. Appreciate it. Happy to talk about the movie on there. But they wrote.
I heard you saw it before.
They
Quite
wrote
good.
Walter Parks in the copy.
Well, I don't know if
and
they
I
did.
said it.
Did they or did
They
you
did.
just say?
They did. No, we tracked it down because, actually, advertising company in the middle could have done it too.
Right,
so
right,
there were a couple stages where it could have happened.
Right.
But when it happened, I said it out loud, not thinking about it. Sklar Brothers supposedly said it, but I got tons of tweets, and
With
I was
people
happy
going
to
like,
get them.
"It's Michael
Because as soon as they're like
Parks."
Michael Parks, I'm like, of course it's Michael Parks.
Right,
So I
right.
immediately, fixed it on the show, but everybody had already downloaded it.
Right.
So I'm getting all these messages because people love to correct me the mistakes I
Of
made.
course they do.
They felt just a little bit superior in that
Oh,
moment.
the internet.
But anyway, I feel better about that whole thing, and
got it off
and
your
the viewers
chest.
right now are probably bored by this discussion.
I'm trying to get the
but-
vibe of the show, and now I understand it's a confessional show. You get high, and you're like, these are my
Yeah,
sins
there's
this
some
week.
shit that happened this
I
week,
said
you guys.
Walter instead of
I have to
Michael.
talk about. But anyway, please
ordained.
apologize to Walter for me
I
next
will.
time
I'll
you
let
see
Walter
him.
know. Good old Walter Parks. I'm ordained as a minister, in the Universal Life Church, so you could confess to me.
Me
That
too.
works?
You know what I'm saying?
You are also?
Yeah.
New segment.
Why?
Confess to two priests.
Some fans wanted to get married, and then
Same here.
then they still got
All
married.
right, I
but
need to marry some
they went
fucking
another
fans.
way.
I am behind on this. What happened? You didn't have to do it?
Yeah, it went away after I got the license.
Oh. That's
But
like
I've got
if,
one.
Okay. We got to do another break, you guys. That's how fast this shit goes.
It moves by.
Both
pretty
of those
quickly.
segments were 20 minutes long.
I don't believe it.
Close, about 17. But we're going to be back.
Can we get high during the break?
Oh, that's a great idea.
He's back, kids. Posehn, we lost him again. Posehn's kids be like, what happened, Dad? Dad is like,
He's 5. He's not.
He's not saying dad or miming shooting up. He's in that precious age in between. We'll be right back. Thank you. We're back.
We are currently on chapter 7, and we're learning for the first time that the streetcar that these guys want so much is hard to track down. What are you writing?
I'm writing down what you're saying.
Did you give me this? This is fake. I don't get you. Thanks a lot, class.
I don't know what to do then. I think we have to really consider whether or not we're going to be able to do this at all. Do we jump ship now?
Well, let's try to work out a solution before we cancel the show.
Well, I'd love to hear an idea.
If the height's a problem, bring the camera down lower.
Naturally.
Put it like a neck brace or something around my neck and put the camera right there so it's a normal man's height.
Great.
We're back for the final segment. I can't believe this has gone by so fast of Getting Dug with High with Brian Posehn and Kevin Smith. Brian smoking during the break. Kevin just with the stories, just keeping us entertained.
Kevin with the stories was my high school nickname.
With the stories, and is also your Indian name probably. And
no, it's gets off plane unwillingly. That's my Indian name.
At Primetime,
Native American name, I should say.
I get it. At Primetime Guru on Twitter asked, "Don't leave us hanging, Doug. What's your favorite soup?" I didn't even know I did that. Cream of mushroom. 3,000.
Wow.
I know,
Bold.
weird choice, right?
Bold.
You don't like it at all?
Yeah.
I always like cream of mushroom, even when they make it bad. Wow.
Now
Like on
he's
planes.
just talking to other people and not even us. I don't understand. What
He
did we
gets
do
high
wrong?
and loses
They're not
interest in his
doing
guests. How's it going, Clay? You having fun?
You're such a magpie, dude. You're literally just like, look at that shiny light.
I was joking that last one. 3,255 viewers smashed the record way higher. You guys are the Willy Wonka in the glass elevator going right through the top.
If you want to view
I didn't mean to cue another sing-along.
Simply. Really? Not even that one? You're not high enough to jump in on Charlie yet?
I will never be
sounds
that
filthier
high.
than
I can only, yeah, let's all jump in on Charlie.
Yeah, that sounds really dirty.
No, I can only do, there's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going.
Don't harsh my buzz. I don't want to sing that song.
I can do that whole thing.
Can you really?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
I
take a look.
memorized it. You guys are so high right now that
Not at all.
there's only one thing.
I'm honestly
There's only
disappointed. I don't
one
think the
thing
show
we
lives
can-
up to its title. I'm not high enough yet.
Here, dude, hit this. No one's hit this one.
Are you Doug, though?
It's a clean one.
I'm super Doug.
I'm very Doug.
Hit this one really
I can't.
hard.
Here's the thing, and I'm not prejudiced against it. When I get cold sores, fever blisters, herpes.
All right, here we go.
Whenever I
Here
use
we go. Shut it
anything
down.
else.
Shut it down. Don't move
You
that
don't
away
want
from
that.
Kevin.
Exactly. You don't want those
All right.
lips on anything like that.
But here's what you're gonna do right now. You guys get to watch my friend Gabe's gonna come out here and he's gonna do a magic trick.
Right on, man. Give it up for Gabe, everybody. How are you? Do you need to stand to do it?
Yeah.
Should we stand with you?
Preferable. If you want.
Let's stand up. It's magic,
Does that
everybody.
affect the cameras? Can we do that?
Here, come in here. Let me help. I'm a director. Come in here. Come in here.
I'm just gonna go through the
Do me a
top of
favor.
the
You
building.
guys got a good shot right here? Open up to the camera a little bit so
Here
I
we
can see your
go.
cards.
Pick a card, any card.
Very
Thanks for
natural.
He can direct while he's high.
Pick a
All right,
card,
any card?
Yep.
You know what? I've been enough talking. You grab a
Okay,
card.
Brian, pick a card, any card.
That one.
Okay, take it out. All right. Kevin, I'm gonna have you make a mark on the card, any kind of mark that you want, your initials, or you can draw a dick. A lot of people do that.
Okay.
Just when I ask people to draw on a card.
You drawing a dick?
I draw my initials and put a dick on it.
Nice.
Going for
Is
best
that
of
your
both
dick or
worlds.
just like anybody's dick?
It's a dick I saw once through a glory hole in New Mexico. Wait, do you want to see the card? What do
It
I do?
doesn't really matter
Do I
at
give it
this
to
point.
him?
I'll take the card back.
Doesn't matter at this point.
All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna place it back in the center.
Okay,
Watch.
I've
Is that
seen.
fair? Oh, okay. All right.
Confirmed.
But you haven't seen there's a string that comes up through the center of the deck. If I
Okay.
pull on the string, it comes back up to the top.
Holy crap.
I'll do it slower, watch.
Okay,
Into the center,
okay.
pull the string, back up to the top.
That's nuts. Then that's my, and it is my initials on
I'll
the
do one
dick.
more thing though. I'm actually gonna bend the card so you
Okay.
guys can see that
Okay.
there's a bend in the card, right?
Okay.
You can see it there?
Yeah.
All right, watch.
That's crazy. Almost satanic. The power of darkness.
That might have been that might have been the best one he's ever done.
Think so?
Yeah, I think so.
He's
bought it.
lucky
It
we
was pretty
stopped
impressive.
burning witches.
Thanks for coming, you guys.
That's it.
Pretty much. We got to do plugs,
Okay.
and
Can we just make all these people leave and then get more high?
you can continue to get high and get in your car as late as you want. We'll wait it out with you.
You can find me at Buds and Roses
That's right. It's 7 p.m.
doing some
And
this.
is that out on Ventura Boulevard
Like
out
their
there?
tusks.
Oh, look at that.
Photo op. Unless now everyone on the internet is taking these out and putting two dicks there.
Everyone is doing that. Everyone has the technology.
One guy does it and everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, it just gets tweeted around. But Tusk is in theaters Friday. So how many cities is that?
It's on 600 screens, so it's not like a massive wide release, but that's pretty wide for a movie this fucking weird.
You had the big premiere last night. How'd that go?
That was wonderful. It was the Los Angeles premiere, and then tomorrow I go to Austin and have the big premiere at the Fantastic Fest there in Austin. A week ago was Toronto was our big premiere.
You're going to Fantastic Fest?
Yeah, you're going as well.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. Our film opens. Tusk opens. Fantastic.
Well, by the time you get there, I'll know the spot where you can go and stand and smoke in between movies.
Right on.
And it's a wonderful festival.
That's lingo. That's lingo's between the pro, like the place to smoke.
We used to, Brian and I used to always say that in front of other people, especially at work, we need to have a meeting with Bernie.
That's awesome.
And that's when Bernie Brillstein was around, so I think that's where we got it from, was throwing his name around. Brian's going to be at the Crescent Ballroom in Phoenix, Arizona on September 19th.
Really? What am I doing?
You're just going to be, you and your ballroom dancing that you love to do at the Crescent Ballroom.
Can I throw out that
Phoenix?
It's a thrilling
You're not?
to sit next to.
No, I said come on, Phoenix. Come,
okay.
Everyone
come
in
see
Phoenix,
me yell about my balls and my tits and farting and Star Wars.
Well, now is the
That's
best time to say what I was about to say. Thrilling to sit next to Posehn, because Posehn, I love News Radio, that old sitcom. Posehn is on my favorite episode of News Radio. You crushed that.
Chock full of nuts. Nuts.
But your delivery of "she was a good woman too" is fucking legendary in my house.
Thanks.
So you can talk about balls and farts and Star Wars.
September 20th, you're going to be
I built a career on that, so.
I know.
At the Knitting Factory in Boise.
Yes.
That's correct?
Not a stoner town at all, Boise.
I was just there, and I got to go see, what's her name, Jenny Lewis. I say about people whose names I already know, and I'm about to say, I say, what's their name, right before I say it. Just give myself that extra second to verify it's going to be accurate. Do you want to hear my plugs?
Yeah.
Sure.
I know you guys are dying too.
Yeah.
I've got stand-up shows coming up in Sioux Falls, Sacramento, Nashville, and San Diego, and all of my dates are at douglasmovies.com.
You're pretty busy for a stoner.
Yeah, I do this on Wednesdays, Douglas Movies on Tuesdays, and the weekends I'm running around the country doing shows.
Standing up and saying things.
Seeing fun things. I go to concerts a lot. I went to Riot Fest in Chicago last weekend.
How was it?
It was awesome. Now I'm lobbying for them to add a comedy tent. It'd be really cool.
Yeah?
Because, they have lots of bands, but they're all like bands that were popular like 20 years ago. So I fucking loved it. I was just like running around from band to band. I knew all the songs and
Like
everything.
presidents of the
lose him
United
again?
States of
He started
America.
here, and then he
Boss Tones were there.
went to
Dickie was
Posehn.
there.
The
And-
Mighty Boss Tones?
Yeah, Social D, Cheap Trick, that kind of stuff,
Cheap
all that
Trick.
stuff.
Yeah.
No FX, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. Lots of fun
I'm
bands.
gonna make you talk to me.
About what?
Anything. You start on me and then you're like, right, Brian.
It's because that's we're
Are
on,
you awkward
we're on a
around me?
TV.
Is it because when you look in my eyes,
this
you
is a
fall in
TV
a pool
program,
of love?
Kevin. When you see my movie Chronicon, where I talked to you briefly, you were nice enough to talk to me for a while. We're staring right into each other's eyes. It's a love scene.
That's what I was expecting more of today, but it was all dove into the pool of
No,
Posehn.
today I'm giving them cheating out to the cameras, and
Oh, is that what you're doing?
people are enjoying our.
I took it so
our
personally, I forgot we were in a production.
You're making it a production.
I gotta make drama to make dramas. Also.
Yeah, right. And we got to make mugs and T-shirts apparently to keep this thing afloat. So go buy those way too expensive mugs at bit.ly/Doug merch. We'll put that on the screen. I probably didn't say it right. Is it? You say it like that, Bit.ly, or do you have to mention that there's a period in there?
I think you're fine.
Okay.
I think you blow it by saying it's way too expensive.
Dude, these mugs with shipping are $28.
Yeah, but look how big these mugs are, man. Like, you don't have to go back for a second
Thank you,
cup.
Kevin.
Two cups in one mug.
And tell them what you think about the new, the prototype of the pen.
That pen was awesome. I smoked it before we got on camera. That pen works incredibly well. And this one here, man, the disposable, is genius. You don't even have to
you
light
really
it. It's
fell in love
nothing.
with the disposable
In a
tonight,
heartbeat. I'm
for
going to leave here with a fistful of those and smoke them all at once.
Those are available.
Take a picture, and then people take them out of my hand, put a dick in my mouth.
So many dicks.
So many dicks.
Thank you, Brian Posehn and Kevin Smith, for being here. No show next Wednesday, but we're doing a special show at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time, Sunday, September 28th. So let's have a Sunday evening sesh with me and my guests. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/Doug Benson.